clap too to celebrate right where we are with whatever's going on, because it's all good. Because in the end, all we're doing is learning. I was talking with a client recently about her perspective of things, and she had some resentments and some frustrations going on with how she was looking at certain aspects of her life. And she mentioned that sometimes there's a lot of cliches out there. You know, everything happens for a reason can be one of those cliches that a lot of people use, or just say lightly or flippantly. And I get it. I mean, we've all heard that. We've all probably used it at times. But if you really think about it, everything does happen for a reason, whether it's something good and beautiful, or even if it's something tragic or lousy. Everything happens in order for us, this is according to John Hyatt, for us to learn, period. Learn, period. What happens, because we're human beings, we tend to attach all sorts of stuff onto a life event, especially those that are challenging, especially those in which we experience loss, frustration, disappointment, anger, breakup, separation, death, rejection at a job. Okay, all sorts of things that happen to us, we typically instantly go into a projection mode. That this means that about us. Okay? This means that about fill in the blank. Usually it's about us, but it can also be about love, trust, money. Okay? Take your pick. We immediately attach a meaning to it. And there's no more powerful meaning than a personal meaning. So if I have failed at love before, which, looking at my track record, you know, I've divorced twice. The casual observer could go, oh, wow, that's not, you're 0 for 2, okay, when it comes to marriage. And if that becomes my perspective by the way I look at it, with my perspective, I can definitely adopt that frame of mind. I can adopt that perspective. That because, let's just run with my example, because I've been divorced twice, that must mean that. It must mean I'm a failure. I made the wrong choices. I'm not lovable. I don't know how to love. I'm not successful at love. I can't trust love. Women are this way. Men are that way. See what I'm saying? And I can make all those conclusions in my mind, and I'm going to sell myself on the fact that those things are true. And we're constantly doing a sale job on ourselves, on what we believe and why we believe it. But if I start to believe that I'm just not lovable, or I don't belong, people reject me because I've been divorced twice, women reject me, that becomes my label, it becomes my story, it becomes my dynamic. And then my thoughts, my feelings, my words, my actions, my communication skills, everything that I try to do within the realm of relationships starts to reflect back to me that belief that I'm not lovable. It becomes my story, as a matter of fact. It's a story I might tell other people. I might tell my friends, oh, there's no woman out there for me. I'm not any good at marriage. Marriage is not really for me. I can create this whole elaborate, intricate story that vibrates a certain way. And because we're all magnets, see that? And the law of attraction and repulsion can work out. Okay? But with magnets, opposites attract. With the law of attraction, like attracts like. So if I'm in this low point because I've assigned this significant meaning about something, about myself, and it has a low energy vibration like failure or lack of trust or unlucky in love, I am going to attract people. Hello, Charlene. Come on in. Awesome. Great. I am going to attract people, conversations, similar stories that vibrate at that same level.
Is that just because the energy we put out?
Absolutely. That energy is vibrating on the inside. It's driving our emotions. And so, even if I say, well, I really want to find love, okay? I really want to be successful in love. If this story doesn't change, my vibration really doesn't change much. That's why we can be in patterns. And this can be in a work situation, it can be in a family situation, it can be in relationships, it can be in friendships, to where it just keeps playing out and we keep repeating cycles over and over again. We can move in and out of relationships with people, we can move in and out of jobs, we can move in and out of different levels of our bank account or whatever the situation might be. However we are vibrating and aligned on the inside is what attracts things. Now, why are we attracting those things? We're attracting things because there's still things for us to learn. Okay? I'm going to remain in my pattern until I get the lesson. I'm going to remain feeling low energy around love until I get the lesson. So, what would be a potential lesson that I could get that might shift some of that energy?
If you fall in love.
Huh?
If you fall in love.
Right. Again. Right. What opportunity do I have to create something different? How would I create a different opportunity rather than repeat the old pattern?
New experience, new outlook.
I've got to create change of thoughts. I have to, not just a thought, it starts with a thought, but it really comes down to,
Action before words.
well, it comes down to a belief. Now remember, a belief is just a practice thought, but a belief is deeper. Thoughts are passing my mind every day about various things, okay? Beliefs are what's running deeper. I deal with call reluctance when I don't want to pick up the phone and cold call or call somebody about business or do something that might be challenging. I experience that, okay, because I have a belief around it. Okay, not because, hey David, what's up, man? Not because I just have a single thought, but because I've had a lot of thoughts around cold calling that, again, my cold calling experience means something about me, customers, money, sales that doesn't feel good. And so until I change my belief around cold calling, I'm going to keep getting the same results. Even though once in a while I may be able to think, oh, cold calling is fine. I can do cold calling. I am a good cold caller. I can start to throw those words out there, and that's helpful, okay? It's helpful to do that, and that's one place to start. But in the absence of changing the core belief, the pattern remains. So it's the core belief you want to ask yourself about. If there is some type of sticking point that you have, and we all have different sticking points, and that's okay, because remember, all we're doing is learning anyway. If we don't have sticking points, how can we possibly learn? Our learning would be so limited, and that was the conversation I had with my client. I said, look, what if you are just learning? What if there is no broader meaning about anything that you're attaching to this specific event, except that there's an opportunity for you, others, the world, to learn from your experience and the collective experience. As a globe, as a planet, we experience collective experience. Okay? Everything that we are doing today on this big massive globe of over 7 billion people is a cumulative impact of what's been going on, and the beliefs that have been generated, and the stories that have been generated, and the possibilities that have been generated, and the failures that have been generated since time began. That's part of our problem. We are literally stuck in the past. And we are stuck to past generations and their beliefs about things. That's why it's so hard to nudge. You know, you're just not trying to nudge an individual. You know, we got a lot of stuff going on today where people are trying to nudge whole groups of people in a certain direction. And people don't want to be nudged. Why? Because they have core belief, that they are convinced that they are right. My belief is right versus wrong. Really? What's right? What is right? I mean, even if you're a religious person, you might appeal to a moral right, or you might go to a scriptural text to point out what might be right or what somebody else says is right. Okay? But we can get so caught up in this that we can refuse to choose our core belief because we're convinced that we're right. And the opposite belief is wrong. That's even stronger, that the opposite belief is wrong. And if the opposite belief is wrong, there's no way I'm going to be sold on it. So here's where we have a choice of seeing things right or seeing things rightly. Are we trying to see things right? Or are we seeing things rightly? Am I trying to control things because I think I'm right? Or am I looking through the lens of just looking at things rightly? And what's one way of looking at things rightly? Oh man, we're just learning. We're practicing. We are always just practicing. Whether you're married for the first time or the 10th time, all you're still doing is practicing at whatever level you are. If it's the first job or the 10th job, you're still just practicing. And we are all a cumulative sum of our previous experience and our previous beliefs that we have. So if you want something different, you got to change not just your thought, but your belief. That's why there's a key question for us to say, wait a minute. Okay, we were talking about my story, divorced twice, and I could be stuck in the belief that love isn't meant for me, I'm not supposed to win at love, I'm a failure, or certain things about women, or certain things about men, or certain things about kids, whatever, right? Could keep me stuck in that perspective. But what if I changed my thoughts and beliefs from that to go, oh, I'm just learning. Oh, isn't it interesting? Remember that phrase? The best phrase that will ever change your life is the phrase, isn't it interesting? Or isn't that interesting? What does that kind of statement do for us?
Express if you learned something or something that you thought was right, maybe isn't right.
Right. So when we're in this world, we are judging.
Or you're questioning maybe one of your beliefs.
Yes. So, I'm going to come back to that. In this world of where we're always trying to convince ourselves or others that we're right or wrong, okay, we are looking at things through a very judgmental or critical view. That was a mistake, that was a win. That was a loss, that was a victory. That was a failure, I got lucky over here. Okay, I'm in constant judgment mode. Okay, and when I'm in constant judgment mode, again, man, the law of attraction is working overtime when I'm in judgment mode. Okay, because I'm always looking at things whether they're right or wrong, good or bad. Somebody should be doing it or they shouldn't be doing it. I should be doing it or I shouldn't be doing it. And that keeps me stuck in that judgmental perspective. And I can't shift or get out of it. Okay? The key to changing your perspective is taking a step back from that judgment mentality, that judgment perspective, and instead of putting on the critical glasses, it's going to fall again. Instead of putting on the critical glasses, put on the curious glasses. So exchange your criticism or your judgment for curiosity. And you go, oh, isn't it interesting that this person has a different belief than I do? Instead of judging their belief, go, I'm really curious as to how they came to that belief. I wonder if they'd be open to share it with me. Geez, well, wait a minute. I'm kind of curious now about my own belief. How did I come to my own belief?
I do that a lot with religion.
Yes.
I'm open. I want everyone to share, Jehovah's, Mormons. I want to hear it all. I'm just so curious. And I would say, well, if God wants me to be that, he'll pick me up and move me. So I'm a little bit in my wall, but I am interested because I thought, you never know what you can learn.
Thank you.
If nothing else, you can stand up for that person in their religion and say, oh, no, you don't know enough about this religion to judge them.
Right.
Yeah, I've done that many times.
Excellent.
I've defended so many religions. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's an excellent topic, because I know when I'm thinking or looking at my own spiritual path, there was a time many years ago where on my spiritual path I was like, how did I come to believe the things that I think I believe? And do I really believe them? Okay? Or, oh, isn't it interesting that I grew up in a certain religious culture? That I heard religious topics and subjects talked about? That I hung out with kids who were my age most of the time, who were of the same religious frame of mind? And I wonder if that had an impact. Or how much impact did it have? Do I really believe? And when I say do I really believe, in other words, are my thoughts, emotions, words, and actions in alignment with my beliefs? Are they, or maybe not so much? Maybe I've always been curious about this certain aspect or belief about my religion that I never dared question before, and I just accepted it. Well, that's the way it is. Mine's right, everybody else's is wrong. Okay? But this is where curiosity I got it. Becomes the prime mover. Because the more curious I get, the more open I am, the more I can say, I'm not that attached to my belief that I can't listen to yours. In fact, rather than just listen, I wonder if I can learn something from yours. Not that I would have to agree with it or accept it for my own, but I could if I wanted to. But can I learn anyway? Without feeling vulnerable or threatened that I have to give up mine. See, that's another thing. We're always walking around feeling vulnerable and at risk. Our hearts are at risk for love. You know, our wallets are at risk for losing money, okay? As parents, we're at risk for losing our kids. If we're in a relationship, we're at risk for losing a spouse. You know? I may never get married again because I might be too vulnerable for the thought of getting divorced again, right, the third time. And if that's the primary fear running in my background, then guess what I'm never going to do? And what's holding me back? Not the opportunity for love, but the fear around love. Okay, well, guess what? If I'm fearing love, what kind of vibration is that going to create? That's going to affect my level of commitment, my level of trust, my level of integrity, my level of honesty, my level of availability. Because remember, it's all about showing up available. I cannot be available for love if I don't trust love. And what am I trusting love to do?
Fail. Well, if you're in your position.
If my perspective, that's exactly it.
I'm hoping for success. I'm attracting success right
Yeah. No, but that's true. If that's my mindset, okay, then I'm a failure at love. I'm going to attract more failure at love. It's just, that's the law. That's the law of attraction. All right? Otherwise, if I say, well, it's just love and I'm just learning at love. Oh, am I open to learning some more? Does it have to work out in order for me to learn? Oh, no, it doesn't. Do I have to cut myself off because I don't feel safe? Or can I be open for more learning? Same thing with work. Can I open myself up for making the call, for not seeing any rejection whatsoever if somebody doesn't return my call, doesn't even answer my call, or I get a voicemail, or they never call me back? What does that mean about me? It doesn't mean jack. Unless I decide that it does.
Sadly, a lot of people have ego and pride.
Exactly.
Let that be their wall.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
then again, you're not showing up available. You're not open for change, and
Yeah. So those thoughts, limiting thoughts, keep me close to any kind of success I could have on the phone. Whereas I could say, somebody can reject me. In fact, this is where the power is. Where's the power? Is the power in the other person? Is my self-respect, self-esteem, self-acceptance, self-love, and success dependent on how this person on the other end of the phone that I've never met, I don't know who they are, I have no idea how they woke up on the side of the bed this morning or what's going on in their lives, but I'm going to give them the power for me to feel rejected and to own that feeling of rejection for the rest of the day or the rest of the month or the rest of my life? Or am I going to say, oh, okay, next? So that's where we start to cut those attachments. I start to cut those attachments to those kind of things. Because they don't serve me. They don't help me move forward. They keep me stuck. I'm a slave to them. I am reactive to them.
And the person on the other end doesn't even know what they've done.
They don't know and they don't care. They don't care. Other people do not. See, here's the thing too. Thank you for bringing that up, because here we are in our egos. We think that everybody cares about us. Everybody cares so much about us that after talking to us, they spend the rest 24 hours thinking about everything that we said in the conversation. And we think that they're mad and they're ranting and raving and doing all these other things in the background because we think we're that important. No, we're not that important to them. They forgot about it as soon as they hung up the phone. They said some swear words and went about their day. But we think, no, they must be thinking about us. Okay? They don't care. But we give them all the power as if they do care. We give them the power as if they are our source for our care. But if I stop caring, if I already know that there's no way you can ever reject me unless I give you permission to, I'm never going to feel rejected. And I would never want you to accept me because you thought that you had to accept me. I would want you to accept me because you wanted to accept me, not because you have to or you must. You must accept me so that it means something about me. That's where we trip up and have the opportunity to learn the most. So that's why wherever these nuances are playing out in your life, there's an opportunity to go, what am I learning? If this is only happening for my learning, what is the best way to look at it that makes me feel happy, light, curious, instead of critical, safe, aligned, abundant-minded instead of scarcity or lack-minded? What's another way I can look at this? That's where curiosity comes in. I'm looking at it a certain way and it makes me feel this, and I think about this. What if I completely throw out all of that? If there was another perspective, what would be another perspective I could have? And here's the thing too, is we're not used to practicing new perspectives. So we may not even know how to frame a new perspective because we thought about things a certain way for so long. We can't possibly consider success in love because it's completely contrary to my core belief of failure in love. It takes a big leap of courage and faith to say, nope, what if none of that is true? What if the complete opposite is true? In fact, what is the complete opposite? The complete opposite is love is just about learning. There's an abundance of love. You are lovable. There are a million potential partners out there that you could find with whom you could have a fulfilling, loving experience. It has nothing to do with the ratio of men and women in Atlanta. Okay? And so those are the things that we think about. So, as we've talked about these things tonight, what are your all's thoughts or experiences that you've had this week with any of this? Anybody?
Jobs, money,
Anything. Any area.
Mine's kind of like business, as far as learning a lesson, setting goals with clients.
What's one lesson you've learned this week, Charlene?
Sometimes I have to learn to set boundaries better, not take it personally.
Excellent. Who else needs to practice that? No, that's one thing that we're always looking to expand. And just when we think we've got it, something else comes along that says, oh, you think, the universe comes along and says, oh, you think you've really learned this. Now you have made some progress. So let's practice your progress. Bing! New person, new event, completely out of left field. You thought you had it all figured out. And voila. If I go into critical mode, I can make it all about me and how I'm looking at it. If I go into curiosity mode, what happens?
Different things, perspective. I always say, what's in the lesson? What am I supposed to learn?
Yes.
I'm taking it too personally.
And that's the key. Now here's the thing, y'all. Follow up that word with specifics. When you throw out the question or even the cliche that, what was the cliche? Everything happens for a reason. Period. Now, the next sentence. The reasons are. Fill in the blank. We don't stop for the second sentence. We stay in the emotion of what happened, hope that there's a reason, but in the absence of any clarity on the reason, even a tragedy, we're at a loss for how to deal with it, how to process it, how to move through it, how to come up with a different perspective that will change our energy and our vibration around it, and how to stop standing and staring at a door that's closed and move to find a door that's open. How many of us have stopped in front of a door that's closed and stood at the door and just watched it, complaining that it's closed? And there's an open door right around the corner or right next to it that we can't see until you get curious.
That's a good analogy.
I know I've stood at closed doors and been angry at the door for being closed. Right? Been angry at God for closing the door. Been angry at somebody else for being closed. Do other people have the right to be closed?
Yes.
Abso-freaking-lutely they do. Is somebody else being closed right or wrong?
No. It's just, I take it for face value. Basically, I just accept that's, at that point, it is what it is.
Right.
At that point, basically, I don't try to think anymore, but I just accept the fact that's what it is.
Okay, and then what action do you take based on that? That's the way it is.
In a situation like that, I take it for face value, then I move on. I don't think about it anymore.
Okay.
I don't try to. One thing that drives me nuts is when I listen to different people and stuff, and they start, and it's just like overanalyzing. Why can't you just accept it for face value when people talk to me? This is just who I am, or that's just who they are. Take it for face value. Like the light is red, it's not green or any other color. You know the fact that it is what it is. I don't think I just, okay, this is what it is. That's the person they are. That's the person I am. Don't think about it anymore and move on and go on to something else. I found doing that, I'm a lot happier.
Okay. So that to me sounds like a great example, thank you, Paulie, of seeing things rightly. Accepting it, right or wrong, okay? You're choosing to see it rightly by allowing it to be as it is. See, that's the thing. We don't want to allow things to be the way they are.
That sounds like being rejected by someone.
Absolutely.
Why was I rejected?
I look at this is one
Doesn't
thing.
matter. Just move
One
on.
thing I've noticed, a lot of people try to overthink it, or just instead of just taking for face value and basically make a instead of just realize, okay, you can't do anything about it except that's what it is, and just don't worry, don't have that affect your life anymore.
Right.
Just basically accept it, just like with this room right here. Basically, that door's closed, but I have two other options. There, or stay right here.
Right.
I'm not going to try to keep on. I can't get through that door, so
Right.
well, am I going to stay here, or they got two other options?
Excellent. And so that's where when we practice release. Because look, the reason I'm going to stand at a closed door and look at it and get angry is because I'm attached to what I think is on the other side of that door. I'm attached to it. Having it or not having it, or having it a certain way, a certain specific way that my ego requires, keeps me there. I'm trying to control it. I'm trying to control somebody else. I'm trying to make something happen that is beyond my capacity to make happen. Because somebody else is making their own choice most of the time. Okay?
I think sometimes you realize later, if that door does open, it's not the same anymore.
You may not even want to have anything to do with it.
Right.
Or if you control that door to open, in the end, you've just controlled the situation. It's not real.
Right.
You've made something happen, and if it was a choice, it wouldn't be that way. So you created havoc, maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
It is. Is it peaceful or stressful to stand in front of a closed door attached to what you think is on the other side? It's stressful.
It's annoying.
Okay? It's annoying. All right? But, like Paulie said, if we can see it right, the door is closed. Okay? I'm going to release any attachment to what I think may be on the other side of that door. And oh, isn't it interesting that there's an open door over here? Oh, and what about that closed door? Oh, isn't it interesting that I stood in front of that closed door thinking that I wanted what was on the other side, when in fact, the more I think about it, the less I really want it now. Okay? And what is up with that? That's always the case.
Right.
Hindsight's 20/20.
It is. Because we're learning. Okay? But in the absence of closed doors, what's that, Charlene?
It wasn't as good as we thought.
It wasn't as good as we thought it was. I heard that song on the radio the other day, God Bless the Broken Road, right? I mean, that's true with everything. Relationships, jobs, kids, life choices, and it can be even an insignificant choice to live in location B rather than location A. But God Bless the Broken Road is because I lived in B, certain things happened. Had I lived in A, might not have been terrible, but different things might have happened. It doesn't take much turn of the wheel for us to end up in a completely different place. If you have a compass, and there's 360 degrees, I learned this in the military walking around in the freaking woods at night with all this stuff on, equipment on, trying to follow a compass to a stick in the ground, 1,000 meters out there somewhere. And so you're given, what is the azimuth? Let's just say it's 180 degrees due south for 1,000 meters. Okay? And I'm looking at my compass, and I set my compass so the little arrow that glows in the dark point stays at the due south mark. If I'm not paying attention, and I'm off just by 1 or 2 degrees, I can completely blow right by that stick and end up somewhere else. It doesn't take much to miss the mark, especially when we're not paying attention. But that's why just 1 degree of shift is so significant. See, I'm not asking you guys tonight to make a huge leap, to change your life from A and go to Z, to go from 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. Okay? If tonight you walk out of here and go, if I could shift the way I'm thinking about blank from blank to blank by 1 degree, how would I feel? And then, what new thoughts would I need to think to shift 1 degree? What new feelings or emotions do I want to feel to shift 1 degree? What new words can I start to say to myself, to others, and when I'm scripting and writing things down, that will move me 1 degree? What new behaviors can I do today that can shift me just 1 degree? Just 1 degree. That's all you ever have to move. Just the turtle takes 1 step at a time, and then he takes another. Same is true for us.
It's like a conversation. I tell people, a conversation, it's like it's 1 word. Change the direction of a conversation. It's 1 word.
1 word, the tone of 1 word.
Your outlook.
Body language.
I'm more mindful of that now, of the word that I use for maybe the result that I want. And I can see the difference.
Yep.
That 1 word that I'm using is the
Even
word.
with kids,
Oh yeah, that's
that would be a big one. Yeah.
Because that one word is normally that vulnerable word that you don't want
Right.
to say. You know?
I love words. I have learned probably one of the biggest things that has impacted my own life shifts has been from words. Especially when I heard about scripting and how by writing as if I already have what I want and starting to learn how to describe that in detail and how to describe new thoughts, emotions, words, and actions around that in scripting, I started to learn new words. Words have power. Words have energy, and energy has power. And power gets results. Power creates impact. Okay? And when you start to pay attention to your words, your life will change. The first place to pay attention to your words is the words you got going up here between your own ears. Because every time you come down hard on yourself, we disrespect ourselves with the way we talk to ourselves a lot of times. We beat ourselves up. Oh, you're supposed to be doing this. You should have done that. Why didn't you do this? You're not good enough. You can never do that. Stop dreaming about this or that. You're not meant to have it. You're too this, you're too that. And that is such a detrimental habit that we are in, that if you can simply start to change your words, your whole life will start to change because your energy and vibration will start to change. Especially when it comes with other people. Tone, body language, word choice can make all the difference between whether somebody feels that you are attacking them or that you're open and available for them. I'm open and available for you. Please tell me, what's going on so I can help you. Okay? That's a very typical thing someone might say to each other, and it can be very sincere. The likelihood of that opening up the other person is very slim.
Thank you. I was thinking.
Okay? What would be what would be an example? Someone else give me an example in that kind of situation of different words and phrases you can use that might have a different impact on the conversation.
I'm here for you. If you want to talk, I'll listen. I've been there before. Opening up, being vulnerable so they feel you're sincere rather than jumping at you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I get it. Whenever you're ready, I'm open and available to listen. It doesn't have to be now. And that's okay too, because I'm just going to be here with you. Completely different tone, energy. Okay. Actions. Now, the person can still choose to shut down in either case, right? But which one creates the most optimal conditions for an open conversation to take place? Option 2. What conditions do you want to create? That's the question. When you're going into any situation, what conditions do I want to create on this date? What conditions do I want to create for this conversation? What conditions do I want to create for this cold call? What conditions do I want to create for this meeting, for this client, for this opportunity, for this email, for this job search? What conditions do I want to create, and how do I need to show up in my thoughts, feelings, words, and actions in order to create those conditions? And then I deliberately set an intention to do so. And then I do the best that I can.
That's something I wrote today. Humility is your reality.
That's a good one.
Excellent. Excellent.
So,
Let's make a wristband of that.
You need to go. You need to get your own wristband.
I told my wife, she was like, "Man,
That's good. That's deep.
I'm telling you.
that's
Hey, brother.
She's like, "What do you mean thinking
No, but
But it's the truth.
it is the truth.
I think of myself,
Oh, yeah.
what energy I want
Attract.
to attract.
I would say that
Or put out.
your perception is your reality, because people's perception might not be what is really going on, but I would say too, people's perception is their reality. So if you're not communicating and showing up available and speaking, I could be speaking German in Italian. So it's like, wait, let's start over, in sales you always go, okay, this is not going well, let me start over.
If you learn. I mean, I think I work at my job as an IT person had put me in that kind of type of character. There's people walk in my office and they like, bad
Yeah, my stuff's not working.
stuff.
What are you gonna do about it?
It's all my fault.
It's like your fault,
And I get emails like, hey, David, and I know you stopped it on purpose. That's what I've had.
Seriously?
The internet's not working, but I know it works in your office.
Have you seen that before?
I've heard that before.
Oh my God.
I worked for a school and I had a teacher. She used to always joke with me about that because she used to go around and say, David got internet. And they believe that. They come in my room. Hey man, you got the internet in the school, but I heard you got it in your office.
How cute.
Y'all are giving me a.
So I always try to maintain the energy I want to have for that day. I want to be in peace. So I don't try to take on anyone else's. I know at that moment they're just frustrated. That's not who they are. They're just frustrated at that moment. Because I could take it to another level.
I did today in Office Depot. Y'all, acted like an idiot. I've never been an idiot. All the machines were broken. I said, "Can anyone check me out?" And everyone, the entire store turned and looked at me, and that one person answered me. And I just stood there. I thought, what did I just do? I looked like an idiot.
Came out before you realized it
No,
came
I
out.
went from register to register, and I just had enough. And I just screamed out in the whole store. I thought, who am I?
That happens. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting that that's how Kelly showed up?
But the thing is, it's okay for you to do that. The thing is, the person, how they would have came back at you.
The whole store I yelled at. Every single cashier. It was ridiculous. And I thought, I'm trying to make this about me. And all the terminals were down.
Oh,
It's
they
like,
were down, yeah.
every terminal was down. It was awful. I was like,
Just you, lady, we can't check
I've
anybody
never
out.
done this. Who am I? And every place when no one said a word, they all went,
Poor thing. What is it?
Well, this is a good.
awful.
Thank you for sharing your story and yours too, Kelly, because it reminded me that all we can ever do, all we are ever responsible for, is how we show up, the conditions we are creating. I'm not responsible for conditions you create. I'm not responsible for how you show up. I'm not going to own it. I'm not going to accept it as mine. I'm not going to assume a responsibility to fix it or to should on you and tell you you shouldn't or you're not supposed to. But we can be in that mode. That's the role that we think we should play or ought to play. And next thing, I'm trying, all of my energy is directed outward, trying to control other people and other circumstances except for myself. When it's only my ability to influence out there is limited directly by how I'm showing up on the inside. It's impossible for me to create peace outside of myself if I am absent peace on the inside. It's impossible for me to create love outside if I have an absence of love. We get very limited results unless we start to make ourselves full of that REAL, that respect, esteem, acceptance, and love self. But the more we approach, the more intention we can approach our work, our relationships, whatever's going on, from the standpoint of, who am I? Who am I? That's why in there I got on that wall inside there is who we are in any given situation is always greater than what is happening. Who we are in any given situation is always greater than what is happening. Who we are in any situation is always greater than what is happening. And that doesn't matter if it's a divorce, a car accident, a wedding, a raise, a termination, okay, a car accident, celebrating an event, politics, okay. It's crazy out there, the energy that we see playing out in the political environment. All of it is. There's no right or wrong out there. It's all freaking crazy, okay? But if we see it rightly, it doesn't matter what's happening out there, because who we are, who we decide to be, how we want to show up is always greater than any of that. And that is the single most important truth that I know that can keep us grounded. Wait a minute. I'm going through this situation, whatever situation you all have going on. Think about that situation. Now, the most important element of that experience is going to be who you are in that experience. What are your values? What are your beliefs? How are you seeing it? Are you seeing it critically, or are you seeing it with curiosity? Are you judging it right and wrong, or are you judging it rightly? Are you looking for lessons and things to learn, or are you looking at it from the standpoint of, this shouldn't be happening and is not supposed to be happening, or never should have happened? And by starting to practice that skill set, you start to get to the point where it doesn't matter what's happening on TV. You're going to work and you're yourself. Somebody brings it up and you're chilled. You're not reacting to it. You're not responding to it. If you do, you're doing so from a place within yourself that says, well, this is firmly what I believe, and these are my values, and it's okay if we don't agree. In fact, I'm curious about how you are seeing your thing and what you think about it. Not from the standpoint that once you tell me, I want to correct you and tell you what you should, but because I'm interested in how you think. And based on you and me, how could we solve the problem? Where is our common ground? But in the absence of any of that, we can never get to that. Who you are in any given situation is always greater than what is happening, or what has happened in the past. A lot of times we can be stuck on things in this experience because we have unresolved hurts, pains, disappointments, frustrations, loss that we're still attached to. And just because there's some attachments we haven't cut, and there's some healing that hasn't occurred. Divine time and order. If you ever think, I should be over this by now, that's a good reminder that, no, you're not supposed to be over it. But you can work through it if you approach it with intention and deliberate. Oh, this still hurts me. This thing still bothers me back there. Oh, isn't that interesting?
Change your thinking.
Yeah. What are my beliefs around that are keeping me there? What new beliefs, what new thoughts, words, feelings, and actions could I practice that would heal that? Am I even open to healing? Or am I standing at a closed door?
That's probably a lot of it, right? Most people, don't want to work through it. They just
No.
want to just think that is the way it is. And, I have the hardship and I'm pity party.
Absolutely. That number one thing that
You
says,
know what happened to me and I just can't get over that.
I can't get over it. And that's their story.
Interesting. I'm like, oh, wow.
Well, that's an interesting perception. Is that where you want to be?
Yeah, if you want to stay stuck, I guess.
Is that working for you? How is that serving you? Does that create more peace or less peace? And it's okay. Not for me to judge.
It's their battle, it's their thing.
Exactly. Well, because what does walking away from the closed door require?
Belief that there's something better if you walk away.
Abundance-minded, that there's something better. What else? Yep. Courage, readiness, acceptance, and responsibility. I'm taking charge to move. I'm not waiting for somebody else to open the door. I'm not waiting for somebody else to apologize, give me this or that, change whatever happened in the past. Oh, they owe me. Okay? I'm entitled to because. Okay? And as long as I'm always waiting for things like that to happen, guess how long I'm going to wait? Because again, are they thinking about us? No. They don't care. But the instant I say, wait a minute, I'm taking 100% responsibility for this situation, my response to it. I am taking zero responsibility for anybody else to do anything. In fact, nobody even has to do anything. See, that's the key. This person doesn't have to give me anything. They don't ever have to apologize. They don't ever have to pay me back. They don't ever have to change. Why? Because they're allowed to be just right they are where they are. I'm the one who's going to change. And that creates freedom. In the absence of that kind of freedom, I am stuck forever, attached like a cord, like a chain, to you. Because you hurt me, damn it. And you owe me an apology. And you should tell me you're sorry. Because it hurt. And I'm going to wait for you. I'm going to hold it over you. I'm going to punish you. Okay?
And they're not being punished.
No!
They're not having coffee with their friends.
Absolutely. They don't care.
Sulking.
Yeah, they don't care.
Cancerous.
So forgiveness is it's for yourself. It's always for yourself. It's never for the other person.
Gotta forgive yourself.
When you forgive yourself, you forgive them too. Because when you go to, wait a minute, oh, you taught me something. Wow. What's another way to look at the fact that you hurt me? Oh, what I learned from you hurting me was, a lesson about self-respect, or a lesson about love, or moving on. Oh, how valuable is that lesson? Really valuable. Oh, man, I can now teach that lesson to my kid. And the same thing happens to them in their life. Oh, well, how valuable is it then? Or I can teach it to a class. Okay? Or I can help somebody else with it. Oh, how valuable is it then? It's priceless. Thank you for playing your role in teaching me something that I needed to learn. And I bless you for it, even though it didn't feel good. I bless you for the role that you played in it. And I forgive you for my perspective of you. I forgive myself for accusing you when really the lesson is of such a huge value to me that I release you from any obligation to do anything.
And the key is what you said, is forgiving yourself. Because you can say, oh, I forgive that person, but I think we beat ourselves up and will not forgive ourselves.
Every year, people make New Year's resolutions, and I tell my kids, get out a piece of paper and write down everything you need to forgive from me, for your friends, your brothers, your sisters, and just either confront them or just get on your knees and pray, forgive everybody. And that's what you need to do every year, beginning of the year. Just clean slate, so you can move forward in a open, healthy situation. So New Year's resolutions don't exist. It's just forgiveness every year. Make a list of, like when you were talking about who you are, like I made a list of who I am, pros and cons. And then the cons, I pray about it and think about how can I change this con. Or what you said was good. Maybe I shouldn't even try to change it. I should just change my thinking so it becomes a core belief so that it happens naturally. You know.
Sure. There's a lot of different ways to approach that. But here's why that self-forgiveness is so important, because we're in this constant conflict inside with our ego, and we're always critical. We're always judging ourselves. Okay? And in reality, that mindset creates the very block that we need to overcome in order to achieve peace. Because as long as I'm not allowed to learn, because I'm learning is this, the P word. I was supposed to have been perfect. Okay? If I was perfect and did everything I was supposed to do, it wouldn't have happened. If only I had been perfect, then it wouldn't have happened. The relationship was supposed to be perfect. I had all this stuff going into the first marriage. It didn't work out. I had even more going into the second marriage. Oh my God. And as long as I had that expectation or idea that it was supposed to be perfect either time, I just created a false an illusion for myself that kept me from seeing the value of learning. There's no such thing as perfect. We're not supposed to be perfect. By design, we're created as human beings, not gods, not perfected gods. We're gods in training, so to speak. We're learning. So when we release...
What do you feel you was close to?
Close to perfection? Accept that, embrace it.
Enjoy that moment.
Enjoy that second.
You need to ask your family.
Because again, just like I said, that's when the universe will say, oh, you thought you were perfect or had learned everything you needed to learn about this.
Right.
And
So careful what
the
you
cosmic 2x4 slaps us upside the head to gently remind us how.
get up there, release and
When our
let go,
pride
brother.
gets this big,
Yeah. And that's just it.
Release and let go. I love that one. Release and let go.
It is good to give yourself credit for learning.
Absolutely. I think you're
Give yourself credit for learning and growing.
that to me. 'Cause you like learning all the time.
And when we're looking at the whole thing about forgiveness is that, and again I've mentioned this before, the concept of radical forgiveness. The concept of radical forgiveness means that there's really nothing to forgive. You were supposed to teach me something. I was supposed to learn. In return, I taught you something that you were supposed to learn. Therefore, what are we really forgiving each other for anyway, if we were here just to learn? In fact, what if we made a soul agreement, even before we appeared physically on the earth, that said, our paths are going to cross down there and you're going to teach me this, or I'm going to teach you that, and it's going to hurt us both. But I love you, and I know you love me. And it's okay, because we're going to learn from the experience what we're supposed to learn. And if that's the case, what role does forgiveness play? But forgiveness is a beautiful exercise of coming to terms with those kind of things and increasing our learning and our insight that says, wait a minute, absolutely I can forgive this person because of what I learned from this experience that now has even more value to me. I'm grateful for that value. That's how you heal the past. You move from pain to healing by paying attention to what you learned and the value of the lesson that now becomes a gift from the other person. The person that disrespected you really presented you a gift about respect. And I don't have to like the person, but if I appreciate the gift, I can then see value in the person, and I can release attachment of low energy around the person for that they should have been, or they should have done something different, or they were supposed to be different, or they should have been different.
What if it's you though? What if you created, let's say you wanted a divorce, or you created a
Sure,
divorce,
same thing.
and you're trying to, get over something.
Yes, it's the same
Are you
thing.
expecting a gift from yourself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You're finding peace in the process to yourself.
Yes.
That's what I was saying. This is the key right there. That wherever he wrote that, the peace in the
Peace is in the process. That's where.
That's huge.
That's why Pace the turtle is down there. That's why
Yeah.
David came up with the term respect the pace, which is now on a yellow wristband. Okay?
Respect the what?
Respect the pace.
The total wins the race.
The turtle always wins the
Your
race.
energy is your reality.
Right. It's the true thing. But that peace is in the process comes from trusting that we're always right where we're supposed to be. We are right where we are supposed to be in time, space, geographic location, money, relationships, job, family, clothes that we're wearing, car that we're driving. Okay? We're always right where we're supposed to be. Here's the second part. We are always right where we are supposed to be.
That's hard.
There's nothing wrong playing out. Okay? There's just life playing out. Okay? Now, right doesn't mean judging right. It means seeing ourselves rightly. We're right where we're supposed to be because we're loved, we're learning, we're growing, we're practicing. Okay? And that there's nothing wrong in that moment, that we have a choice and we are creating that moment with how we're choosing to show up in that moment. And that's a culmination of beliefs and thoughts and everything else that we have dominion over to change. But our power is only in that moment. We're not wrong as human beings, we're just human beings. Being human beings. And God's up there going, yep, they're doing exactly what I thought they would be doing. That's okay, got it all covered. See, He's got, I'm talking spiritually now just for myself, but He's got it all figured out. Okay? Or she, whatever your spiritual path says, that's okay. That doesn't matter. But when I look at it that way, that helps. I can experience and practice radical trust. It's not like I'm not surprising him or her, okay? They're not surprised. They're like, yep, you guys are human. I created you that way. Yep, you're going to be angry. You're going to go to war. There's going to be cancer. But there's going to be flowers too. And there's going to be peace. And there's going to be love. But there's going to be hate. But there's going to be love. Oh, that's how you learn, because you get to choose love or hate. And whatever you choose, you get to learn from. But you got to have both. So I'm giving you both to choose. I wouldn't choose that one if I were you, just because of the pain. But if you do, it's okay. You'll learn, It's just going to be tougher. That's where we can lighten up and go, man, it's okay for me to be a human being instead of a human doing all the time, trying to figure this stuff out and doing in the perfection world. Scripting comes to play because of this. So remember, script is getting a nice journal, putting a dedication on the front page, signing your name to it, and then starting to write on a daily basis as if you already have what you want. If you want love, if you want a relationship around love, or you want to grow love in your current relationship, you write what how you want to show up or are showing up in that present moment with love in your thoughts. Today I love myself. Today I am present in the moment and I am available for loving myself, knowing that the more I love myself, the more I am giving to my partner today. Okay? The more I love myself, the more available I am to my clients today. And I love my clients. See, I love my clients. And when I talk to my clients today, they feel my love for them, even over the phone. Cold calling, people sense warmth, love, patience, opportunity, connection in my voice. And I release and allow them to have whatever experience they have with me because I am sending them love through the phone as I'm talking to them. This is what I would be scripting. Okay? My emotions for love are at peace. I believe in love. I trust love. I am love. I release and let go of any emotions around love that make me feel stuck, uncertain, unwanted, fearful, doubtful. And I replace those thoughts with peace, trust, compassion. Today, in all of my emails and all my conversations, I express love. Not just with words, but with tone, with warmth, with emotion, with body language. People know when they come to me in my office, they feel love when they walk in. And I radiate that love out to them. See what I'm saying? That is how I would script about love showing up in the present moment when I'm scripting. Thank you, God, that I am love already. Thank you that I am loved and that I demonstrate love. Thank you for your love. Thank you that I see love all around me right now in everything, in the chair that I'm sitting in. Did not love create this chair? Did love create this chair? Yes. Somebody loved designing the chair. Somebody loved the idea of sitting and sitting comfortably. Somebody loved designing a factory. See what I'm saying? Somebody loved building a store that would sell the chair. This chair is a demonstration. So, see how I'm talking about perspective? That's where we go to change the way we see things. It changes the energy. I start to appreciate love. Love doesn't have to come from you. I see love in the chair. I see love in you even if you don't, and you don't have to give it to me. You don't have to give me your love for me to feel love. And I'm going to give you love anyway. So when we're scripting, we're writing about love, relationships, money, career, health, personal development, or spiritual growth. Those are the 5 topics that we script about. And it's only affirmative writing, and you're using phrases like those in your scripting. Today I am committed. Today I honor my own path and I honor other people's paths. I allow people to walk their path freely. And I bless them as they walk their path, even if we are not in agreement. In fact, I acknowledge and I'm grateful for the contrast in how we look at life. And I am unattached to people walking their path that serves them in some way. So, scripting creates that energy. Scripting creates that flow. Scripting helps create this alignment between thoughts, emotions, words, and actions that start to set our vibration for the day, for the present moment. And next thing you know, we're just walking down the hall and we're scripting in our heads, but we're affirming and going into that meeting, I am at peace. I walk into this meeting and I radiate success, confidence, love. In my presentation, I am articulate, clear, humorous, engaging. People love me. I love them. How long did it take me to say that? 15 seconds? would that not have a positive energetic vibration change before you walk into a meeting? Any meeting? Absolutely. Whole lot more powerful than, this sucks, I ain't got time for this, I don't want to meet with these people, I could care less about what the meeting's about, I should be somewhere else.
Wow, it did just.
It flipped.
Now I'm like, I feel, and you know, we go with what you say. So when you're saying the good stuff, I'm like, yes, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that. And then you flip it over, you're like, yeah, I really don't want to be. I don't like. So you know, they say, you know, when you're in a job and bad attitude becomes contagious.
Yes.
And you try to get rid of the gossip, you try to get rid of the drama, and you have to do it quickly, you have to cut it quickly.
Yeah.
Because it becomes contagious. And it's same
If I walk in with that low energy, are people going to notice that? Heck yeah.
I had a rough day today.
Exactly.
We're gonna work through this.
What kind of conditions am I going to create for that?
Why do you have a smile on your face? You just like wake up that way? I'm like, yes, I do. Isn't that awesome? And it's contagious.
Yes.
You're gonna smile at the end of the day.
I have all my patients, I can change their attitude.
Sure.
Chair, when they sit down, I'll say, how's your day going? And they're like, oh, it could be better. And I'll say, well, hopefully it'll get better right now. You know, right now, let's just
Yes,
change
right
this.
now. That's
By
the
time
present
they leave,
moment.
Their teeth are clean. I said, don't you feel good? Your teeth are clean. Everything's good. And it works. It does work, yeah. Even if your people around you work with, aren't so great, yeah.
I had a basketball player. We walked in the gym, and she played there many times. And she, the team coach, she walked in the gym. She's like, I don't like this gym because I always lose here. First thing she said, well, and she was captain of the team too.
Ooh.
She says that to me. She said, Coach, I don't like this gym because we always lose here. And I said, but I don't.
Yeah.
She went out there and we won. But I think she looked at me and she was like, okay.
You change it.
Yeah. Is your victory in the court, or is it in your heart? Where is it?
Your heart, where is that?
Where's your victory at?
Right now, you walk out like that, thinking that
Yep.
way, we already done.
Yeah. Might as well turn and forfeit.
We must just leave.
Go have some, yeah.
I think that bad energy.
Don't even leave this way, get them back to the gym, get
Yeah.
them back on the bus, you know. But I was like, I said, but I don't.
She took it on.
Yeah, excellent. That's great. Set that example. Look, we are all powerful, creative beings. We really do have dominion over all things. When you believe it and you accept it and you allow it and you take responsibility for it, especially for you, you can change the power of your words. You can learn. You can release perfection. You can change your core beliefs. You can get curious rather than critical. And your life will change. What's that?
I said, isn't that interesting?
Isn't it that interesting? And isn't it interesting that this is the end of tonight's lesson? Thank you, everybody, for coming. Go out and create.